the earthquake and tsunami in Japan on January the 1st. That's 1-1. That's the twins, the twin towers, 1-1. 11. Yin and yang. You have the two opposites, okay? Like you have the sun and the moon. The twin towers, the Temple of Solomon, sun and moon. 1-1. 11. The duality, the twin towers. You have this earthquake and tsunami. Yes, there was a tsunami, as we can see here in aerial footage. And I believe this was predicted in IPEC GOAT 2. And so we're in the year. We're in the correct timeline now. All these events should happen this year. This year, there's going to be more tsunamis than you can shake a stick at. And we're going to look at this. And I believe it's predicted in IPEC GOAT 2. And this is the year. And so if we look at the months here, we'll see 12 months, and you see a rabbit. Now this has confused people, because our calendar does not match up to the Chinese calendar. Now in the previous scene you have the blackboard. We've just had that with Obama, and this is telling us that the events are coming, and it's going to be this year. And so in this year you're going to have a major tsunami event, which seems to be indicated here. So between February and April there's going to be a mass flooding event there. This is the Japan event. You have the yin and yang. It happened on 1-1. The yin and yang. Yin and yang is applicable to China, but it's also applicable to Japan. And we had the earthquake. And we have a little pool of water here with the tsunami. This tells us that we're in the year. And what's confused people is the Chinese calendar. And so 2024, a bit of it is in the year of the rabbit, which we have here, which is down the rabbit hole. Okay? This is Alice in Wonderland. It's connected to Lewis Carroll. You have the initials LC next to where you have the boot, and it steps on the crown. The crown coin. This is all about the crown of England, which the royal family say is the crown of David or Solomon. And this is also about the crown of the human being, the keta or the chakra, the crown chakra. That this is supposed to be triggering a great awakening, a higher state of consciousness, which we have in the truth movement, which is all controlled. And it's a kind of controlled awakening to a new age where they're controlling all sides. And the main catalyst for this is going to be the William Shakespeare. As we see in Albert Pike's letter, there will be a social cataclysm. That is the William Shakespeare. It spears the lower self. It's connected to St. George and St. Michael, who slay the dragon. We will go into the year of the dragon, the Chinese year of the dragon. We have Xi Jinping saying that Taiwan will be part of China this year, even though Taiwan should be part of China because it was due to Western-backed shenanigans that the country split anyway. But what's going to happen is this. They're going to say China has infiltrated the United States. All this is going to come out. And that they are the ones behind the election, the controversy of the election of the POTUS, okay? And this is all going to be revealed, and they're going to be blamed for the William Shakespeare. Now, what I believe is the tsunami event here, there's also a tsunami there, there could be impacts here, and here, and here. So you're going to have a huge barrage of things happen. You're going to have World War III, you're going to have a huge tsunami, and you're also going to have meteor impacts, according to this, at the end of the year. And we have two major comets as well coming, one during the eclipse. And as I said, the eclipse is a form of alchemy because it is a synthesis of the two into the one which is Isis, enlightenment. The Albert Pike's letter talks about this new age of Lucifer, which is the new age of enlightenment. And so, and they are going to reveal all. And you have this little girl here, Alice in Wonderland. Now, Lewis Carroll was part of a cult, secret society of Oxford. He was an Oxford Don mathematician, which liked little kids. And the British Prime Minister at the time was also part of this ring. Now, this relates to Jeffrey Epstein, because the list of Jeffrey Epstein will be released, and it will show us that there has been this huge plot. But they're going to blame it on China. Okay, so we have the yin and yang symbol, which can also mean Japan, and we have the water here. We had a small tsunami, probably smaller than expected, and I believe that the California wave was also a test. All these are tests for the big event, which seems to be here, and there also seems to be another event here, impacts here, here, and here. Okay, so this is the year. So the yin and yang symbol also there is a Chinese equivalent called Inyo. It is also the symbol of karate. It is the dialectic, the unity of the dialectic, like you have on a Masonic square, like the Twin Towers. And as I've said in my previous video, the Twin Towers were palm trees. And inside the Temple of Solomon, they were decorated with palm trees. This relates to La Palma, which will be one of the events. So you're going to have multiple events this year. This year is going to be the year. We are out of time. As we see in this cover, and thanks for your comments, because we will see that the hourglasses look like an 8-8. Okay, out of time. 8-8. And everything is going to be revealed. The elections are going to be revealed. And this 8-8 is connected to Revelation 8-8, which is about a mountain falling into the sea. That will trigger the Great Tsunami, and China will invade Taiwan. And this will create the events that create World War III. Also, the economy will crash, and we will learn about the true effects of the William Shakespeare. And the William Shakespeare is that social cataclysm which Albert Pike was talking about. And the atheists in that letter are the World Economic Forum. Prince Charles is aligned to the World Economic Forum. Prince Charles will have to step down. William will take over, the thousandth night of the Garter, which was created on 23rd of April. That's when we had the emergency alert. That's St. George's Day. St. George is the same person as St. Michael. St. George represents the earthly, and St. Michael represents the heavenly. And the 8-8 also relates to the planet Mercury. Why is this important? Because Mercury is the messenger of the gods. It's Hermes Trismegistus. And Hermes Trismegistus was important to John Dee and Francis Bacon, and they were the writers of Shakespeare. And the goal of the Rosicrucians is to go back to the Golden Age, is to create this new age, Golden Age, as there was a fall of man in the past. So we have the 8-8, the election will be revealed. We have this cover, Exit Wave, last January on the 7th. And we've just had the Japan Earthquake and Tsunami on 1-1, Yin and Yang, Janus, the two gods, which looks in both directions. It is representing of the duality. We have the ground bug here. Now remember that I posted a link where you have predictive programming in the film Noah with Russell Crowe, where he sees a crown bug and then God tells him to build the ark. So we can see this in the Economist magazine, okay? Exit Wave. It all relates to Leonardo da Vinci, who's on the Economist cover of the 2019. He's Vitruvian Man, which represents St. Michael. He holds the scales, like on the flag of La Palma. He holds a marijuana leaf, and it looks like a palm leaf, and you have Artemis Agentileschi. She holds a palm representing the martyrdom. And this is all relates to the Temple of Solomon, where the palm tree represented resurrection and the rising phoenix. We had the Olympics, the 2012 Olympics, which was a crown ritual on the Queen's Jubilee. Then the Queen died in 2022 on her Jubilee year. She was buried she died on the 8th, and she was buried on the 19th. A year before, you had the eruption in La Palma on the 19th, and the earthquake swarm was on 9/11. 9/11 again is a warning of the flood. So, and all this is what this is about is Zion. Okay, so we have this painting by Leonardo da Vinci going back to Zion, rebuilding Zion, rebuilding what it was like before the fall. That's the aim of these secret societies: to go back to God, to go back up the ladder, whatever that means. Here in Leonardo's painting of the Virgin Mary, Adoration of the Virgin, remember, the Virgin is also associated with Isis. You have Christ here. Remember, Dan Brown said that Leonardo da Vinci was a member of the Priory of Zion. And in his painting here, we have Jesus, we have Mary, and what we have is a laurel tree, and then we have a palm tree outside the rebuilding of the Temple of Solomon. This is the rebuilding of the Temple of Solomon with the twin towers here. It is not the Temple of Maxentius. It is the building of the Temple of Solomon, and that's what Christ here represents, that he will take man back to this golden age. And we have the laurel tree here, which is also a symbol of the god Apollo, who was born under a palm tree. We have a palm tree here, the sun. This is about the birth of a sun in a new astrological age, the age of Aquarius. That's what these events are about. Temple of Solomon, we have Israel. We have this in the letter of Albert Pike about the Third World War. We will see what happens to political Zionism. Now let's look at the 2019 cover. We will see the panda, that's China, Xi Jinping, Putin, Trump will come back, the satellite, the Leonardo satellite, it will all be exposed that there was something wrong with the election. Bulldog, that's Boris Johnson, Churchill factor. You have Gandhi, the water wheel, the palm, there will be tsunami coming from here, from the Canary Islands. Notice that Leonardo's head here of the Vitruvian Man is over the Canary Islands, and he holds the scales like St. Michael. Okay, he holds the scales like St. Michael. There's a palm tree there. Where his head is where the Canary Islands is. And Leonardo used to draw hair inspired by waves. This will be a tsunami event here. And lower down we have the pangolin that was blamed for the crown bug. 4 men of the apocalypse. We had, on this cover they actually wore a mask, and this was before the event. We have La Palma here. La Palma is 2 volcanoes, so it's twin peaks. And the lesser volcano is Cumbre Vieja, old peak. The Queen was the old peak. Here's Xi Jinping. He has lied. They're going to blame all this on China. China is going to invade Taiwan. They're going to say America's been infiltrated. We're going to have World War III. And it's all going to happen this year. We're out of time. And lower down, you have Angelina Jolie as the Mona Lisa. Again, the Mona Lisa, in the background of her painting, you have the deluge. Leonardo was fascinated with how to represent the biblical deluge. And that's what this cover is saying. That all will be revealed. It's 8:8. We're out of time. The rock will hit the sea. Revelation 8:8, like in the film Back to the Future. So, it looks like we're on schedule. We've just had the yin yang 1-1, and we have the tsunami and the earthquake. They probably thought that the tsunami would be bigger. But then next month and the following months, you see there's a flood there. There's also a flood there. There's also impacts as well. So, it looks like we're in the year of the apocalypse, which will actually be a great revealing, and it's all about creating a new age. That's what I think. Thank you.